Hi, everybody. My name's Bill Russell. I'm the Associate Dean International here at the School of Business in the University of Dundee. Today, we're very lucky to be able to talk to Khaled. He's a PhD student who graduated a few years ago, and we'll find out about his story. Welcome, Khaled. Would you like to just introduce who you are and what your position and role is now?
Yeah, sure. It's actually my pleasure to be with you today and to talk about my experience and journey in Dundee, my preferred city, I would say. I spent a nice time at that time since 2010, and I came back even in 2018 I left before Corona, COVID-19, 2019. I was in a sabbatical leave, so I spent my research doing research in Dundee. I had access to the library and office at the college and campus. So it was a great opportunity again to be in Dundee. So my journey started, I graduated in 2002 from, I got my bachelor's degree from Kuwait University Business School. And then I worked in the Islamic banking industry, the first and largest Islamic bank in Kuwait. And at that time, it was the only Islamic bank in Kuwait Finance House. For several years, and then I also worked in a bank that converted from conventional to an Islamic bank. So I had the opportunity to be like a Sharia auditor. Sharia means Islamic law. So from Islamic and banking perspective, I was looking at the conversion process for this bank from conventional to Islamic. So the owners of the bank decided to convert and change their whole business model from a conventional bank to an Islamic bank. Afterwards, I got a scholarship to do my master's degree from the Public Authority for Applied Education Training. So I had this opportunity and I left to Australia. I got an admission to study in Macquarie University in Australia, Sydney. Afterwards, I came back and I was employed by my sponsor to do my, I had to teach 2 years at least to go further for the PhD. So I taught 2 years. And then I got my second scholarship to do a PhD, which I chose Dundee. So I had different options. I visited different cities and universities, and finally I decided to do my PhD in Dundee. So that was in 2010 to 2014. I graduated in 2014. And since then I came back to Kuwait, continuing teaching in my academia world. Because I left the industry, I was working in a banking system, I'm in banking industry investment. So it was a big, shift from the practical to the academia world. Okay. So that was a quick.
No, that's a potted history, and that's an impressive history as well. I love the fact that your education has taken you around the world. In Kuwait, and then Australia, and then Scotland here in the United Kingdom. That shows an amazing amount of flexibility and resilience on your part. You're actually learning different cultures multiple times as you're going through the whole process. So your worldview must be brilliant. The other interesting thing here is, what was the title? Can you remember the title of your PhD?
Yeah, it was about the Islamic equity investment in Kuwait and GCC countries. We did interviews first about Islamic equities in general and the GCC issues and challenges. And then I did my second empirical work on the Kuwait stock market. So there was a debate about the Islamic investee companies, which companies you invest in. It's something like the ethical investment criteria and religious investment criteria. You've got the Christian funds, the Jewish funds, and then you've got the Islamic funds. So it's like a religious and ethical investment values, something like social responsible investment. So you have certain criteria, but there's some of the debate in the Islamic funds industry about the criteria. Not all Islamic investors know that Islamic funds invest in pure Islamic companies. So they had certain, thresholds which companies to invest in. If they have some debt to certain level, they would allow it. And some other scholars say, no, we have to be pure Islamic, pure. They shouldn't allow any debt, interest debt. So I started from this religious debate. And then based on that, I created different portfolios. based on the different screening criteria in the industry, practical. So I had the background, the practical background from the industry, and I did, try to explore this more from academic and financial perspective. So I created different portfolios, and then I measured the performance of these portfolios across years. Like we took, I believe it was 5 years. Then I expanded it to publish a paper in Journal of Business Ethics, expanded it to 10 years. So the idea was, does it penalize you to be an Islamic investor, religious-based investor from a financial perspective or not? So this was the main idea of the whole paper and thesis.
Okay, so like a true academic, a true analyst, you interrogated the data, which I always like. I mean, anything which is empirical based or has empirical analysis in the background to either support or reject what your hypothesis is, then that has to be the way forward. Interesting answer. I'm guessing that it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Exactly, and I love that answer because my whole worldview is that we are all the same. We are all the same. We do things differently, but we are all the same.
Although it's against portfolio theory because you're limiting your universe, but the answer was still you can stick to your values and ethical standards and make profit. So it doesn't penalize you. So that was really interesting.
So following that sort of that form of analysis, people also do similar analyses on environmental criteria constraining portfolios as well, and they find exactly the same answer, that the growth rates are the same. Now, so interestingly enough, you did your PhD in the accounting and finance part of the business school. I think in your day, there wasn't the PhD in Islamic finance, which has only just started now, but the PhDs which were focused on Islamic finance issues were done either in accounting and finance on the practical level, like what you've done, or in economic studies, sort of coming out of the moral economy route in the past. One of the nice things is we now have a dedicated PhD program with Al Maktoum College as our partner, and they provide supervision as well. So we're looking forward to that. Listen, can I take you back? I always like taking people back to when they first arrived in Dundee. So you arrived in Edinburgh, Glasgow?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, and then you've got a transfer to Dundee. Did you arrive during the day, in the evening, and the weekends? Can you remember that much of your arrival?
Actually, I arrived the afternoons, I believe, and I booked in Apex Hotel next to City Quay.
Okay.
So
I know.
So the good thing, before I decided to come to Dundee, before I bring my whole family to Dundee, I visited, I visited Dundee and several cities when I got the admission. I had offers from different universities. So I visited Dundee and I made some friendships there, and they helped me a lot to arrange accommodation and things. So everything was about sorted. So I spent like a few days in the hotel, and then I moved to a flat. I found a good flat in City Quay. So
in City Quay as well. Okay, a really nice place.
City Quay,
it's
nice
walking distance.
Walking distance, exactly. That's the nice thing in Dundee. Everything is a walking distance. So although I bought a car, because I've got a family, my wife and daughters, small daughters, 3 and 4 years old.
Oh, lovely.
But everything was very, very, very close and walking distance. The city, supermarkets, shops, and things. So it was good. We had a good chance to walk.
I've got daughters as well. I've got 3 daughters, and they are the joy of my life. Articulate, engaged, interested in everything around them. And at the age of 3 or 4, they would have just loved the new playground. So that's all very good. And then your first impressions. You come onto the campus and you meet your supervisor, who I understand was Christine Hellier, who was at the time the dean of the school. She was such a character. She was fabulous. So you arrive, and then how does that all go? You meet the supervisors.
There was like I had a meeting with her second or third day when I just rested and settled down, and then we had a chat with the second supervisor as well about the program, the plan, how to approach it, because at the beginning we didn't start to do this research from the beginning. We had like a a course like a master's course. Then we got a diploma.
So this is the MRes, Master of Research. That's right.
Exactly, in accounting and finance. So the good thing, we had a certificate when we finished the program. So we had 2 certificates, a PhD and a diploma.
Okay.
So we started the coursework. It was like we came and then introduction, and we had a tour in the campus. It was nice and friendly. Everybody was welcoming, and smiles everywhere, and calm. So, and then we started the program, the coursework program.
Okay.
It's like, we've got lectures and things. And then while we are studying, we had a chat about readings and literature review, and to decide exactly the research topic.
Okay. Okay. Listen, that's fabulous, Khaled. I'm really impressed at your approach to education, the idea that you go to lots of different countries. This is really great, and you've ended up making full use of your PhD in your employment since you've finished. Thank you very much for talking to us today, and I wish you all the best for the future. And if you're back in Dundee, let's catch up and go for coffee.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks.
Bye now.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.